All right, we talked about the why and the what. Let's get to the how. How do you use stories in a presentation? First of all, be strategic. If you're doing a presentation on teamwork, I want to hear a story about teamwork, not about something unrelated. Too often we want a story that's just to warm people up and relax them. I always tell my clients to start with story. It's the #1 way to kick off a presentation. And some of them are very uncomfortable with this, because when I say start with story, I mean start with story. Right off the top. In the speaking business, there's all this side business known as throat clearing, where you're talking about the weather and your flight delays, and look at this beautiful venue, aren't we lucky to be here? And you're thanking the 17 VIPs in the audience. And these last two may be controversial. We've all heard the old, tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you just told them. Starting with your agenda is boring. And nobody cares about what you have to say until you've given them a reason to care, and storytelling gives them that reason. And the other is me, your LinkedIn profile. I've seen speakers just talk all about themselves. What is an audience most interested in? Themselves. They don't want to hear from, they want to know, what can you do for me? So I tell my clients to jump right in. Whatever it is, the beginning of your story, whatever your version of, it was a dark and stormy night, just jump right in. You won't believe what happened to me on the way here. I'll never forget my first day on the job. And just really spare us the setup. You don't have to say, I'm going to tell you a story. Let me share you a story. Or worst of all, this is a story about. If we can't understand the point of your story from the story itself, you need to work on the story, or perhaps your audience. So start with story, finish with story. Again, one that underlines the key message of your presentation. For bonus points, if at the end you can tell a story that revisits an earlier story by telling a postscript or from a different perspective, that's enormously satisfying to an audience member. It takes them on this journey they've been part of. And of course, have stories in between. So start, end, have them in between. People often ask, well, how many stories should I use in a presentation? I've done a lot of studying of this, and the answer is 7.36. Write that down, 7.36 stories. False. I don't know. I would say maybe if you have 5 parts of your presentation, an intro and a closing and 3 parts in the middle, rule of 3s, that you might have 5 stories. But not if you have 25 minutes and each story takes 10 minutes. That would not be practical. I would say, and we've talked about this also this morning as well, you marry an assertion with a bit of evidence with a story. Maybe not every time, but a story helps bring the evidence and the data to life.